we're gonna be looking at tflame versus Harren. To give you some background on these guys, tflame got third in his division. He was just outside of the cusp of the tournament placement. He's been very strong. And Harren has also been a competitor. He did get sixth in his division, not as necessarily a as big of a competitor for the final of the season, but he's shown his worth in Group A. It's a group that we were excited about because Virifo, who has got a million games, was in it, and T-Flame actually beat Fury in week one. An upset of sort, but Viri had no competitive experience. And now we get to see them take punches at each other. Are you ready to go, Slappy?
Yeah, so I'm gonna back up. I'm not gonna let Viri get away with an excuse that he has no competitive experience. I don't know if that's some lie that but he was in the tag team tournament back in 2012 or 13 or something.
uh, yeah,
It was with KCM actually.
with
He
KCM.
sank KCM in the first tag team tournament. I'm actually kidding. He actually played pretty well. One of the first great sets in competitive SpyParty was KCM and Verifo versus I want to say it was Track and Jakat or
That
Jakat.
sounds correct.
It went on forever because that was back in the unlimited tiebreaker kind of scenario. You go back and forth tennis style, and it went like I want to say like maybe 10 games into tiebreakers. It was wonderful. Anyway, I'm getting a little off because I'm getting all teary eyed thinking about the competitive past. But that's kind of the thing is, I believe right after that was the very first Summer Cup, and we have had such long competitive history with this tournament. So I'm super excited to be here and casting it because I like seeing something like this that seemed like a one-off thing the first time become basically an institution. It's a longer institution than SCL itself, and
Mhm.
so anyway, I guess, and it's also great because now we get to see. It was a struggle to get up to 32 people for a bunch of the years going in, and now we have 64. I want to say, right, competitors.
64, and there were people still on the waiting list. Uh,
Indeed.
it's it's insane. I'm looking at here at a ballroom game, T-Flame as orange dress.
Um, I might be in the reverse order.
Yeah, don't do that.
I am in the reverse
The
order.
order's
Yeah.
always going to be, and it has been at least for this, the group stages, ballroom, courtyard, library, high rise, with that 3 of 5 to end it. Tell me when
Perfect.
you're ready here, Slappy.
I am all set. Excited to get going.
Okay, fantastic. And then I'll count it down in three, two, one, playing it. We got a slow spy, slow Amber. We got Pearls over there, and we're playing the other slowest character in the game as Orange Dress.
All right, well, that's not too bad on Ballroom. I mean, Ballroom's a sizable map, but the distances you can travel to reset things like Flirt are pretty small. There's a pad near you in every scenario. I want to say that it's one of the. Oh, we are going to go for the reverse bug. We do not. We're respecting the sniper angle on us at the time. I want to say, even if we were a little bit of a behaviorless sniper, we could be going for low lights on not taking that sort of bait. But we're not going to be doing that, and we're just going to be heading over for a Flirt. We're going to be walking through a conversation circle. I don't believe we're going to be seen, though.
Yeah, we can get the floor here. We lose the opportunity for the contact the double agent as the double agent splits after taking a drink. 49% though is enough. We can get a bit closer and get a 51. We might be able to flirt it with a bit of luck and a bit of skill.
Yeah, it's interesting because the 49% green flirt, oftentimes I will think to myself, well, that's pretty much the same as a 51, but it's not the same if you're going to timer flirt. You do have to move from this position if you're going to timer flirt, and we're not going to be timer flirting anyways. We're going to be going for bookcase, which makes sense as Sari having a pretty strong microfilm animation, and we'll see if we go for it. Oh, no, it's just a fingerprint. That's right, those things exist.
Yeah, it looks like T-Flame's keeping an eye on the ambassador who is going to middle statues, doing a fingerprint there. That we missed the fingerprint, and now missing the flirt opportunity. Our selecting target running away right as we decide to flirt. This is actually going pretty rough in regards to mission completion, despite how active we've been.
Yeah, we're going to be running into the problem of having to possibly do a middle statue in the last 30 seconds if we're not able to make up some pace here. We do have three at the bookcase. We're going to get stared down pretty hard here. We're
Yeah,
kind of
this is
like we're
this
waiting
is
for a
the
quick comeback.
hardest. We are the hardest person to get anything done because we are both near the ambassador and 3 at bookcases. Memeingly suspicious.
We
Seduction
do
target at
have
statues also just puts us in a spot. Are we really going to go to middle statues to get a flirt?
That's going to be a little bit rough. We're going to be going for it. It's going to be a white test. We are going to get the credit. We're going to be stepping into the middle statue, and we will be getting the credit for all 3 statues, presumably. We are at 83%, meaning that a flirt from any distance will get us the completion. But we still have to get a fingerprint, a contact, and a seduce, presumably, to finish out this. Oh, and we're actually not going to finish the last inspect. We're respecting the sniper's count on our cycles, even though Orange Dress has some of the more lenient animations for doing statues. I think we had enough time to get that last inspect, and we're going to see if we get
We
punished for
hit
that
a
later.
couple whites and we also had the fingerprint to do because that was the fingerprintable statue. The concern here
Banana
being
bread.
is fingerprintable. A banana bread might get a shot. The shots lined up and we're done.
So
Fingerprintable
on the
statue and the difficult means that from the sniper side, we could have been done with flirt, inspects, and prints.
Gotcha. So we fingerprinted the statue. Didn't we have a fingerprintable book earlier on?
It was an opportunity for it. It was a difficult print and
Ah,
we did not hit it. And
gotcha.
that's actually one of the costs of trying to do fingerprints after you've missed a difficult, is if you're really trying to do a third fingerprint, you're making it really visible. We could have
Indeed.
finished flirt with a couple greens, but we didn't hit the green on the last one. And we could have finished in specs. I don't think this banana bread ended up being. Oh no, we got shot. Uh, yeah, the double agent also split on us. It's just terrible luck all the way through for T-Flame.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's one of the just as a tone setting game as sniper for Harren. That's got to feel pretty good because not only did you shoot the spy, you shot the spy without a ton of so that's gonna be a bit of a boost to the game. And we'll see if that carries forward into the spy game.
I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Here as Irish, and we're heat seeking down either the ambassador or the seduction target. It looks like it's gonna be the flirt.
We're also set up for a possibly a bug as they come out, and we're going to be pretty tempted by that middle statue and finger. Although, like you said in the last game, sometimes fingerprint on the statue in the middle can get you in trouble because then you can't get all 3 inspects in. We are going to be running away over here. It's an okay banana bread. It's a fair trade-off. It's getting a little bit better. It's getting a little bit better.
Yeah, the
This is
reason I
this is going to
would
be better.
love this banana bread is we do have our seduction target as a highlight middle statues, but beyond that, the cost is about 3 lowlights.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we
and
go, 4.
for so that ended up not being the best. Also, it was a pretty easy set of lowlights to grab. We're not going to be worried about splits on our lowlights. We're going to be pretty confident in the lowlights that we did get. So it's going to be, I'm going to say, a slight loss on the banana bread on for ballroom, but it's still a mission done. So we're gonna have to deal with the fact that a couple of the highlights have been knocked out, and there's really not much else going on for the sniper to pay attention to. We are probably going to be the main highlight coming in here to the middle statue and a fingerprintable statue. So I'm not sure that the sequencing here is going to be the easiest for us. I guess we're just kind of
That's
hoping.
a
Oh, we're just
swap.
going for a swap.
Yeah, Harren did a little camera shake. I do not believe this was intentional. How is he going to close it out now that he's done it, though? You got to get the inspects. Yeah, he doesn't even get the inspects. Now we don't have any mission completion. We cannot trigger a 10-second clock. And the only
Well,
person who's anywhere near those statues was Pearls, and she's already low lit. Shot comes off.
so pretty similar story, except for the accidental swap on the statue. If the swap hadn't have gone off, we would have been inspect done. So we've been slightly more progress than on the previous spy. But we left a lot of missions on the table, and right now the snipers have been able to take shots pretty early on, pretty comfortably.
Yeah, hopefully we can get a bit cleaner. I don't want these guys losing games just because of accidents. I'd like it because of good sniper play, preferably. We're starting here with Kane, and we'll go in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We start with a drink, which limits our ability to do some shenanigans. So we're probably going to go just for a flirt here. We bail away from it a little bit. Maybe a timeout. It's just kind of fun on
Drinks
courtyard.
don't stop time ads.
That's right. We just check our watch innocently. There's a lot of people at Windows, so it might have been on the sniper's brain. It's kind of a weird thing where you would think that time ads on Courtyard are good when there's a lot of people at Windows, but it also kind of just makes the sniper unconsciously think about time ads a little bit more, especially this early in the game. Not worth the trade off. We do get 51% on the flirt, and we are going to be setting up for something. I'm not really sure. Right now, we're just in a conversation that might be getting us a drink soon. Other than that, there's not much here going.
This is a really tempting place to do a banana bread, or in this case, a fake banana bread. It would ruin us in the sense that we do have the suspected double agent, but everybody's in conversation. It's time to go check if we can get a banana bread here before that ends up not being the case.
We're getting some good lowlights out of the sniper here. I'm not quite sure why we're getting the lowlights. It could possibly be for passing up on a, but we got a nice set of lowlights from Harren that are going to narrow things down pretty well. And that's an interesting thing to see from on Courtyard, being willing to take behavioral lowlights. I'm presuming on a map that's usually camping just kind
Red
of
testing
disposes
coming.
it.
The
I
laser was moving around a lot. I saw it, but I also have a green arrow above the spy's head. It doesn't appear there's much of a reaction to the cough.
I swear that Papa Danger coughs more than other spies. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I've seen more red tests banana breads out of Papa than any other character. It could just be something burned into my memory from games past. But you're right that not much bad came out of it. Honestly, the only low light that seemed to come out of it was a low light we would have gotten anyway. So uh, honestly, it looks like it's going to be a wash, and hopefully Harren doesn't overreact to the red banana bread like we talk about so many times. Like they feel like they need to get something out of it. It's on Courtyard. The fact that they got a red banana bread, just take some of the lowlights that you can get, and then you'll find them by doing whatever they have to do to finish out the mission. So no overreaction so far, but it's hard to see what Harren's mental state is right now.
Yeah, there's only two highlights, and one of them just did the briefcase, and that's orange dress. We're chilling. We might get rewarded with like a low light for chilling, but we need to finish missions.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
there's a low light.
boots. Wow, there it is. Okay, so looks like there's some inactivity, low lighting going on. But do we know we have a low light? The light or the layer came over to us very purposefully. When we did that, and we do go right into statues. Hard to tell if that's just because we need to go to statues at this point, or if we know that we're low lit. Regardless, what is going to be the last thing? Are we going to
Harren
go?
has
Are we
not seen that statue for a while. He still hasn't rotated over. Nope, he's not
doesn't
going to
get the?
rotate at all.
But he still needs to go to the other statue and finish out the inspect to be able to trigger the countdown.
Safety off. Yeah, okay, mom's down for, it looks like a flirt.
All right,
But
so
Harren
did he
never
ever
saw
see
that
it?
statue.
Oh yeah.
No, he didn't rotate over that statue for a good 30 seconds. T-Flame either having some good laser play there and really realizing that that's his option is to go swap the statue that nobody's been looking at. Um, I don't know why he didn't just take the two inspects there, but I think it was going to work out either way. There was just, we weren't getting shot for the inspect, and in this case, mom was getting shot for us.
It could also be that we saw two lowlights going into that set of statues, and we like, great, statues are protected. We know 100% if we're believing in our lowlights that the statues on the far side, nothing's happening. We can see ambassadors not threatened by anybody except the lowlight. And then no one else was doing anything. And when no one else is doing anything, you get worried as a sniper that something got past you earlier in the game and you shoot one of your top suspects for doing things right near the end.
Okay, we got some Harren on red dress, and we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, so we start as we're going straight for the inspect on this map. It's funny, Courtyard is one of the maps where there's more of a flow chart to this map than any other. There's very discernible openings and fin that often will just happen a lot. There's a plurality of games. There's like clusters, I guess is the correct way to put it. There's clusters of games that are pretty identifiable as far as flows of the map, similar to Balcony, where there's just types of identifiable games that you kind of flow into. And this one is going to be an opening with an inspect.
Yeah, so the concern when you open with an inspect is now you get the early highlight, and you still have to do that fourth tell, be it a hard tell or fingerprint. We are also more likely to be seen doing the flirt and the contact double agent, but those are less the major concern and more minor concerns against most snipers.
Yeah, so what in the ways that you can deal with the highlight, sometimes it's interesting because when you have the highlight for inspect, Courtyard is one of the maps that there can be highlight and for sort of scenarios where it's okay, I've dealt with the inspect by highlighting, I've offloaded the memory, of needing to remember that they didn't expect onto the highlight. That also means sometimes they just don't pay attention because they're looking for farming of their highlights. Sometimes in Courtyard, there's discernible halves of the game. There's the generating suspects half of the game while also trying to defend things like Bug and Purloin, and then there's the narrowing of the suspects onto a prime target in the second half of the game. So sometimes it's best to try to just break their guard and get a Purloin or Bug in under their radar, even though you're highlit.
Yeah, we're just opportunities here.
Banana
It's
bread.
banana bread. We still need to do another flirt, and we still need to do our hardtail. We're not using the banana bread to cover purloin.
Yeah, that's a
We're
bit of a bummer because I think that you might have been implying there that we sometimes banana bread's so good on this map that you can use it to cover something because it's so predictable where the sniper is going to look for something. And it's one of the few times in which you can get away with something because in the last minute is when the
oh
sniper's
wow.
guard for the hardtail's going to be highest. Where we're flashing and we're shooting. That's it.
Yeah, so Pearl's picked up a briefcase. She's highlit, implying that she also is the other person who went to statues. And of the two people who went to statues, she's the one that gets shot. I assume that she did two
Yeah, she
prints.
did. She was the first briefcase grabber in the game. So honestly,
Shots explainable. It's not correct though, and we're 2-2.
well, the shot's not quite explainable because I mean, it's explainable in terms of if you just don't pay attention to what's going on during Banana Bread because everybody was in conversation almost, but she wasn't in conversation with a double agent during it. So we were one mission count off of that. So if we were able to keep track of our suspects enough, I think we could have held that shot a little bit. But it does go on, and it's an understandable shot at the very least because you could believe that you missed a bug or something.
Okay, T-Flame on Mom on Library. We're 2-2, and it deserved 2-2. These guys have been very even as far as I'm concerned. And we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right,
We are deep
so
in the
we're
corner.
pressing.
There's
Yeah, what do you like to do when you're deep in the corner? Because like there's really not all that much fun stuff you can do. I mean, statues are nearby. I kind of wish there was something in the very, very corner of the map you could do in the beginning of the game. Obviously, the corner of a map is where you can do things like sneak a purloin over there, which might be the answer to my question, or microfilm, obviously.
Yeah, so when it comes to, I mean, all SpyParty, but particularly Library, it's just how far away are things like the Ambassador, Toby, and your seduction target, and they can be anywhere. They could be also in the corner with you. They could also come right up to you and let you get a free flirt. Taking the drink here first, though.
And I want to say no, I guess Ambassador was just offered the drink earlier on, so there's not a fingerprint on it. And we're gonna pick up a little bit more seduction. Oh no, there is the fingerprint on that. I
There is
knew it.
finger.
I'm getting better. Look at me. I'm tracking finger. Be proud of me. Uh, and
It's
we
not
are
that.
looking around a
It's
lot.
not that I doubt your ability to track fingerprints. Tr- I doubt your ability to do fingerprints, Slappy.
All right, so we do have the 40%, 47% on the flirt. So we might be timer flirting for trying to make it one last flirt to finish off later on. We are doing something that I really appreciate is while we're waiting in this timer flirt, we are looking around at who possibly could be a suspect. And then trying to keep tabs on people. Unfortunately, seduction target leaves, goes pretty nearby, so us chasing would look pretty suspicious. And it looks like we're going to be watching to see where a seduction target goes. We're kind of just hanging out here, though. And is he going to join us? He does. We have mind controlled him back into the conversation with, and then we pick up the flirt that we wanted from before.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we want from this party right now is for the ambassador to touch something else. The problem with something when you get a drink print, it implies that the ambassador has put a drink in their hand, and it's going to be a while before they touch something else. Looks like they're doing us a favor, dropping the briefcase and touching the statue here now.
Yeah, when we were aiming for I think the back conversation circle, or possibly just getting our inspect started, or the blue microfilm, and we cut back, do a little pathing tail, but it's not going to be noticed. It's pretty small into the conversation circle where we're going to be kind of our perch, I guess is a good way to put it, where we're going to swoop in and do something later. The question is how quickly after the
Banana
ambassador
bread.
are we going to be going here. We do the banana bread. Are we going to go for the bug right now? We do, but the
Ooh.
arm is so visible, but I don't think it's seen.
Yeah, so
Otherwise, it'd just be dead.
the issue with that bug was it would have been really good if Pearls was going anywhere except for that conversation. Walking bugs are really good on library. Pearls being a bit slower makes them a bit easier mechanically. It's just T-Flame gets juked out, and I think he might have get seen not necessarily for the bug, but for the split. We did not get a low light for sure.
Well, hopefully this puts a little bit of gas in our engine for just forcing us to do stuff. We should be able to go for this bug in the chaos. We don't opt. Just see a little bit of a cleaner bug
This is
flow for
not
it.
legal, by the way, but it's not a huge issue if your opponent doesn't either see it or know it's illegal.
Going for the briefcase before the ambassador left, but like
Yeah,
walking from
exactly.
far away. Yeah. We do I think we'll just be setting down the briefcase here. We still haven't picked up any suspicion. We probably think we're a pretty high suspect, but we haven't seemed to pick up a highlight or even being tracked that much. We are going to add time. I like the timing of it before the beeps, but unfortunately, we are on it, which I'm actually a bit surprised about. Ambassador was threatened, and there were Toby was being pretty threatening at the time too, with the offer to a neutral light. But we were seeing maybe Harren was a bit more on top of Teal for that bug we saw earlier than we thought.
Yeah, and we can always be critical of people who are shooting for time ads, especially on library, where there's a lot of places that someone could be time adding. That being said, if you're shooting the spy, we ain't gonna say that much.
All right, well, we'll see if Harren can fire back and try to tie this setup. We are at 3-2, or sorry, 3-2 Harren, correct? So I guess Tiefling is to.
Correct. He just took a correct shot, and it was 2-2 previously. Harren now on Seek, and we'll do it in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, so we don't seem to be aiming much for in the chaos. We're just going to be perching on the front, seeing how things are settling down a little bit. We're a little bit too far away from our seduction target at this window to pick up a flirt, unfortunately. It would have been nice just to even get a tiny bit of percentage off that. But we're going to be chasing a little bit. And then we are going to hang out in this conversation circle as well, which is going to be useless for us for now, unless we're going to be going for this Purloin.
Yeah, both these guys have been pretty conservative about their early half of their games, just in regards to doing suspicious things. Like they're willing to go to grab a fingerprint or go to statues, but they're not like being cheesy or abusing the chaos in any sense.
Right now, I think we're right in the part of the rotation where we be paying attention to Purloin. We do not go for the Purloin. We are going to be joining our seduction target at Bookshelf.
This is generally one of my favorite flirts in the game, just because you're on two different pads. Uh, it's never going to get you that much percent. It actually gets a 0% because the seduction target's a meanie.
Yeah, and for those
But
that don't know,
yep.
there are certain paths that are linked basically where you can still flirt across them. We do go for the in conversation, but and it's in between the rotation and doesn't seem to get us any suspicion at all, except for possibly remembering that we were near Ambassador earlier. But I think we got away with that one pretty clean.
Yeah, I don't. The book shouldn't give us cover. It's always in the left hand, so the right hand is the hand that we'd be bugging with. But in general, characters that have books in hand are harder to bug with.
So we didn't intend for this book to be something we're going to dump in the wrong shelf. I believe at first we are just going for that flirt, but I think we might be considering going for that at this point. We've had it for a long time. It might be pretty clean at this point. We intentionally, by the way, stand pretty far from our ambassador, so it doesn't even look like we're setting it for a walking bug. And then, okay, so now the problem is there's going to be a fingerprint at that shelf that we go back to, and we might get some adjacent suspicion
I
for
don't
being
I
at that.
don't think you can afford to put this in the green bookcase at this point. You've spent 2 minutes. You have 20% flirt. The bug's nice. But we need to do 4 missions, and we need to get this book out of our hands so we can go do things like inspect.
We do exactly that. We take our time putting it back in, and we have transfer done.
The
Um,
vast majority of that was off camera. He did flick over as we were leaving,
which
but
does it's a little bit of a bummer because it's always a bit more suspicious when you're sniping. You see someone leaving bookcase, like or sorry, ending their bookcase animation right when you flip over because it looks like it could have been possible. Um, but I think we're pretty clean on that.
not the prettiest path there. But honestly, it's the sort of path that uh, AI sometimes do because Toby was there.
So I'm not quite sure about going to this particular statue at this moment. because what it means is the path of least resistance is probably still seduction, inspect, contact. But that means from in the last minute and a half, we have to visit another statue, we have to flirt twice, and we have to contact. That sort of flow might be pretty suspect if we're trying to narrow in a couple suspects.
Yeah, the shortcut here is finish your flirt and don't do the banana bread and just inspect swap. We do have a good character for it. Generally, though, in the last minute, swapping on library
Banana
is
bread.
very common and it's very meta. It's the sort of thing the sniper should very much be aware of.
All right, well, we'll see how we're going to get these last two pieces done. Unfortunately, our seduction target's at bookcase, which is going to make things possibly a little hairy for us. Uh, so we're
He's gonna
probably.
leave.
Oh, I don't
No,
know. He's not going to. Nah, yeah, there's no way that's going to come off in time. So we're just going to be stuck with this useless. Um, which, I mean, I guess at this point, no, there's
oh,
nothing.
he's
We
going
can't
back
have
to
it.
another. He's going back to another bookcase.
Our love is very literal, and unfortunately has been at bookcases many times. We are forced into what appears to be an inspect swap.
We do at
Highly
least grab the right
suspected.
statue.
Very correct. And what are we doing? All
We
right, so
need
we
the
are pretty
white test.
suspicious.
A green test does not work here. Okay, a green test might work here. We can finish the flirt before the swap finishes if our seduction target hangs out at this bookcase for a while. Chill
All
with
right.
us. Doing the flirt before the book pull. Beeping starts. The list is there. The swap hasn't happened. What could it possibly be? The guy reading at the back, and it. We get the sixth mission win.
Wow. Okay. That I do like the fact that we went for the flirt. I actually think that was a great choice on his part. We got a little bit fortunate at the end there. So the reason normally that play at the swapping at the side is going to go pretty badly for us. And actually, T Flame had a read on what that play was going to be, but he was watching the wrong person. He was watching Salmon Danger over at the right side of the map, really suspicious that a last minute swap was going to come off, and staring down that statue, but actually it was the left side of the map that was threatened, and we were able to put it into pending and then flirt to win. Kind of confusing if people don't know all the rules that happen with the overtime status, but trust us that it was awesome.
Yeah. Chat pointing out, reading is not a crime. We're reading at the end of the game too. We replicate good AI play, and this is Harren taking the lead. Harren will make it to the next round if he can win either of the next two games. I will have to go do a bit more research and remind myself what happens in a tie. But let's get it going here. We're back to Kane, and we'll do it in three, two, one, playing it. Okay. Yeah, chat doing my job for me, saying that T Flame can move on with a tie. T Flame is AI controlling like an absolute madman. Jeez.
And it's funny because in that awkward path that the AI did take in our stead, we end up going next to our seduction target just too late. So when we finally do take, it's a little bit too late to get that flirt. We are going to get this flirt right here, though, and put ourselves in a position to get a little bit more progress in. But of course, the problem with high rise isn't really how you get your flirts done. It's what do you do about your third mission besides contact and seduction? Do you put yourself in one of the small pool of people that can complete inspects? Do you put yourself in the pool of people that can complete bug? Or do you put yourself in the very small pool of people that can have completed fingerprint?
Okay, so one thing that's going to frame this game is Ambassador just took a drink. This means Ambassador is not going to be putting his dirty hands on many things for a while, but it does mean that Alice has a print, Wheels has a print, and our seduction target mom has an inspect. We are not the most suspicious person in this party. Seek also highlighted. We're actually on the down low. Is that a
A
word
little
that kids
bit.
say these days?
I think so. Unfortunately, the difficult fingerprint is picked up by the double agent. Otherwise, we'd have a lot of suspicion scattered amongst the. Ambassador does move over to the other side, is in a spot where they might stay for a little bit. Also, do you know if this was an accidental Smallman Ambassador, or is T Flame one of the people that intentionally picked Smallman Ambassador?
So T-Flame's chosen like slow ambassadors multiple times, which I'm not sure is purposeful. It's either very purposeful and he's trying for like walking bugs would be like the biggest thing that comes to mind for having a slow ambassador, or he's just randoming and just had a couple slow ambassadors in a row.
Yeah, okay, so Ambassador comes up right next to us, and I'm really curious who's going to grab that briefcase that they left behind. Alice is
Oh,
nearby. Oh, it's again, Irish has been ruining fingerprints for us. This suspected double agent doing work for
yeah.
Harren.
The problem for T-Flame too is don't try and frame Irish here because she has two prints, but she's not a double agent. T-Flame might not know that or shouldn't know that unless he's very much watching who's been in conversation with the double agent, Viri Tech.
Right, and which is a little bit difficult to try to go for. On high rise, it is doable. It's one of the more doable maps to try to figure that out, and it's also one
Actually,
of the maps
I
that might be more
ended up
important.
doing it in my last Summer Cup game. I knew who the double agent was. Alice did go to mill statues. We're not completing missions ourselves. We need to be doing something, and specs and fingerprints are kind of off the table there unless we go middle statue.
We could just be trying to get someone else shot, but the problem is that we need to do a banana bread at the very least. The funny thing is, we're probably going to wait for Irish to be in conversation circle with the double agent in order for us to do it. All right, we're just going for it. We're going for center statue. Uh, all right, so if we fire off a banana bread after this middle statue, there's going to be a few suspicious people, but I think we've got to be top suspect if a banana bread goes off in the next 15 seconds.
Oh, we must be credited with a bug because there's no way that we did Prince and there's no way that we did Banana Bread. T-Flame's down, and that means Harren is going through. Viri would be the other one. I believe they actually both have 6 points. I'm not sure how the tiebreaker is going to end up going, but well played to Harren. We will run out the last game of High Rise as a victory lap for Harren Spy. But congratulations, and let's move on to this game. We can talk about Group A here while we watch this in 3, 2, 1, playing it. We're back to Pearls.
All right, so you're saying that Heron and Viri are going to be out of the group, but we're not sure who is going to be out
I'm
in
pulling up the
first.
standings here now. So Viri got 2-1. This will also put Harren at 2-1. And I do believe Viri won the match against Harren. I would suspect that's the tiebreaker, but someone can confirm that for me.
It looks like Kaylee is saying Heron is on to face Lazy, which I
Yeah,
forget which
Lazy
side of
Bear
that is.
was a heavy favorite in his group. I think that means that he's implying that Viri's the one seed in this group, and that was not necessarily expected after Viri dropped the first game to T-Flame.
All right, well, let's see. So the who's the fourth player in this group? Basic,
Basic.
right? Yeah. All right. Basic. So Basic and T Flame, their rides are over in the Summer Cup, but we did see great stuff out of T Flame. I know, and I believe I'm not sure how Basic's games went, but this might be Basic's first competitive tournament. I don't remember if they've been in anything else.
I don't recall them playing anything else personally, but the thing about this game too is it's 5-2, and I feel like it's been very even. Heron's just been getting the small edges. Particularly that library game. I think that library game was a very deserved win with the green swap flirt play.
Yeah, and also I want to say this group overall was pretty close. Like the games in general were pretty close matches. Sorry, match. Oh, and T Flame is whipping his camera around. I'm not sure why. I guess maybe just frustrated at the prior, but possibly frustrated at something that's going on in this one.
Yeah, I understand the frustration when we know you're out of the game. In the same sense, the high rise games when you're up 5-2, high rise isn't the best map to show your personality on because you can't really expect to rush on high rise. Um, these last games, uh, this is high rise. We've been timer floating. Got a good banana bread. I'm wondering what the third mission's gonna be. I hope it's not middle statue.
Yeah, at this point, we're probably just gonna go pick up. Oh, I guess we're not willing to gulp this drink. And oh no, that
Doesn't
was the
even
last of the
gulp it.
drink.
This is
Yeah.
the last sip. Hey, buddy.
Oh, what's up?
That thing
Okay,
with your
so we
first pickup line was so good that your search target comes back to you. Don't do middle statue. I see you eyeing it. Stop it. Just bug. He's right here.
All
Nope.
right, well, unfortunately, he's in a spot that's a little bit tough to bug in. We've been at this conversation pad forever, and so we're gonna go to the death zone and get shot. I want at some point, chat. I want to see a compilation of the people shot at middle statues on the right side in high rise, and just how often it just eventually the spy reluctantly dragging themselves to that statue because they have no other option, or they feel like they have no other option.
This is why I like this is why I like keeping Purloin on. Because then
Honestly,
you have two bad choices.
I'm torn because the NA3 of 5 is a little bit it's not it's very possible as spy as it is, but man, I wish I could just add microfilm to NA3 of 6 and just make it that, and just like don't let them do Purloin. I guess either microfilm or swap. I think they're so interesting. Purloin makes the most sense to add into the 3 of 6 because it takes so much attention to guard. But I love microfilm in this map. It's just not good enough. There's just so many fun things you can do with